Good evening. Hello, everyone. You are watching the Cheese Room podcast. We are back again, bringing you a show with some special guests tonight. We've got some Geordies in the house, which I'm particularly excited about. So we'll get to that in a minute. Before we get to that, I just want to welcome our resident pundits, Dave O. And you've had a trim by the look of it, haven't you, mate? Short back and sides. How is Australia?
Australia's great. Lockdown's over. Went out for a few drinks last night. It was beautiful.
And well, I mean, you look much better with a haircut. That's all I would say, because it was seriously getting out of control. A bit like mine, actually. My barber's he's pretty ill himself, so hopefully I'll get back to him next week. John, meanwhile, welcome. How are you, sir?
Yeah, I'm good. Thanks, caller. Very good. Nice. Getting a bit chilly, but it's nice down here on the south coast.
Okay. Well, before we shake, rattle, and roll, we've got two gents from Newcastle Fan TV. Joshy, welcome to you. Welcome.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me on.
How are you doing today?
Yeah, all good. Really good. Enjoying the unusually warm northeasterly weather.
That's right. Well, it's been quite pleasant today, hasn't it? It's been sunny up near you.
We don't really call it the sun.
Fair enough. And Carl, welcome to yourself, sir.
Thank you very much, mate. Looking forward to it, definitely. Probably get some stick, which I'm sure will be justified. But no, it should be a good crack. So
we've got to get used to it now. We're the richest club in the world. Just thought I'd dangle that in.
It started. Jesus Christ.
I mean, get that one in at the get-go. Thanks, guys. Just hanging that out there. If you're watching tonight in the comments, do put your questions to us. We'll get to them during the show. Do consider a super chat or channel membership and shout out. Shannon is in the comments tonight moderating, you mad lot. So please do put your questions to us throughout the show. Your channel must be doing banging numbers this week, guys. Is this probably the most popularity Newcastle have had since Joe Kinnear was the manager?
Yeah, the channel is absolutely booming. I think anyone that's there's about 3 or 4 larger content creators for Newcastle. Not to blow smoke up our own backsides, but we were the biggest in terms of numbers, and that's just skyrocketing at the moment. I think we're touching 200, 300, 400,000 views in the last 3 or 4 days. Everything we put out is averaging around 10, 20,000 views. So it's crazy. It's something that we've always wanted the channel to obviously grow because it's been going for so long anyway. But
yeah,
I think in correlation with the takeover, it's just naturally going to progress, isn't it? And this isn't any sort of disrespect to anyway. You're naturally going to get lots of people who don't follow Newcastle United who are going to jump on the bandwagon per se, if that, in the most respectful way.
Yeah, sure, absolutely. Josh, similarly, how are you feeling? Are you excited? I mean, a week ago you were stuck with Ashley, and now you're richest club in the world. You must be kind of like buzzing, really.
Just say that last bit once more.
Jesus.
My earphones were funny.
No, I just want to say, you straight away, he's the antagonistic one, not me.
No, absolutely not. Do you know what? For us fans, it's not even about the money. It's about getting rid of Ashley. That's the main goal to us. I mean, if you'd seen Newcastle Twitter today, we're getting excited that the stadium's getting clean. That's how much it means to us, because he killed the core of this club for 14 years, and now we've got someone who looks like they care, and it looks like they want to come in and support the club, the region, the city, everything. So that's what the main aspect for us is. It's not just about what might come, what glory we may achieve, because we don't know what they're going to do. But for now, we're going to enjoy it. We're going to enjoy seeing our stadium get cleaned, and hopefully Sports Direct leave the stadium and just live in the moment for now.
Yeah. It'll be the Chop Square Arena before you know it, won't it, Carl?
I just want to say, I will say this.
Yes.
I'm supposed to be at the Newcastle game on Sunday, but instead I'm at the Spurs Stadium at the NFL. So let's keep it clean, because I will leave some notes for someone in someone's seat somewhere.
Where are you sitting, Carl? I mean, it's a beautiful stadium. Would you know which end you are, or which stand?
I don't know which end it is. I'm in row 20 towards the corner, but I don't know which side it is, unfortunately, off the top of my head. I think it would be where the players would come out of, if that makes any sense at all.
Yeah, okay. I think they come out East Stand for NFL actually, but
Okay.
I'm pretty sure they come out East. All the changing facilities, we've got separate NFL changing facilities in the
Got
East
you.
Stand. It's a point of contention for many Spurs fans that the stadium is just as much an NFL stadium these days as the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. So
I've enjoyed it the years that it has been an NFL stadium. I will say that it's a fantastic place to go.
It's
Definitely.
an incredible stadium, to be
Yeah.
fair. Like,
Yeah.
absolutely sensational.
yeah, it is. We just need a team worthy of it, really, which we'll come on to. We'll come on to shortly. There's going to be lots of questions. Let's get this out in the open right now. There's going to be lots of questions about the Sovereign Wealth Fund and I suppose the ethics of it, etc., etc. How are you guys feeling about that? I'll take both of you. Josh, you want to go first, and then I'll come to you, Carl.
Do you know what? What's going on out there is obviously it's awful, absolutely awful. But I think they need to separate what it is. They're sort of pinning the blame on fans for accepting the takeover, but it's something we got no hold over. We got no controls. Their state is like that, and if we can help support going forward that they change their rules, then happy days. But it has to not be pinned on us that we're the ones causing it.
Yeah, Carl.
Yeah, I'd echo that. I think it is terrible. Make no bones about it. I was absolutely over the moon that the takeover happened, but there is almost a crisis of conscience where that money comes from. Of course, us progressing as the the human race that we are, it can be a bit hypocritical that we're happy about the club being funded by such a nation, but not to play it down. The Premier League is full of blood money. We drink Starbucks. They're funded by the Public Investment Fund. Twitter is funded by the Public Investment Fund. Facebook is funded by the Public Investment Fund. There's lots of things that, Boeing funded by the Public Investment Fund. None of us stop these things. I spoke to Andrew Castle on LBC, and he mentioned about Qatar, and he was like, I don't stop going there because it's my job. But he still wanted to give me grief about the fact that Newcastle United had been taken over by the Saudis. So there's a lot of hypocrisy out there. I think people just need to do their due diligence into, what they do in their everyday life, which is funded by the same people. I fully support people that are against the humanitarian issues that are going on in Saudi Arabia, of course. But like Josh said, it's difficult to be a fan of a club and differentiate the two. It's not our responsibility to hold them accountable per se. We do have LGBTQ communities that work on behalf of Newcastle United that were very sceptical about it, but have sat down with them. And I think the very fact that they've endorsed Amanda Staley as the head of this consortium shows progression in itself. Whether that's a publicity stunt or whatever is down to anyone's interpretation, but I'd like to think that them involving themselves more in the Western world will hopefully bring progression over there.
Okay, well, if you've got a question, as I said before, for any of our guests or any of the panel tonight, do drop it in there, and we will absolutely get to it. Don't be worried about offending anyone. We've done it all on this channel before, and these guys are definitely better than a step up from the Man City lot we had on. So there's absolutely no concerns over that. I want to ask Dave. Dave is, for you chaps, Dave is probably the most sceptical Tottenham fan I've ever met, and he doesn't like our owners, Enoch or Daniel Levy, very much at all. Dave, what's your take on the takeover? What is your view, and would you be happy if it was Spurs?
I like the way that I'm rolled out, like Eeyore and Winnie the Pooh about Enoch every time on the cheese room. If they just wheel me out from the corner of the room, and here
he's just a patsy, right?
Yeah. Look. Pure and simple. This is sports washing. Okay, it's sports washing by the Saudi regime. The Saudi regime. We all know about the record on human rights and things like that. I do think there's a truckload of hypocrisy around this. Britain do business with Saudi Arabia. Lots of different countries do business with Saudi Arabia. The Premier League, being the fine, upstanding organisation that it is, didn't stop this deal a year and a half ago because of their concern about human rights and all the rest of it. They stopped it because of the beIN television from Qatar, who there's no diplomatic relations between Saudi Arabia and beIN. So let's just be really clear about the Premier League's role in this. For the guys here on tonight, you know, you look at Abramovich, you look at City, you look at PSG, and all the rest of it. So the fact of the matter is, it's sports washing, pure and simple. And really, what do we expect of the Geordie nation? 55,000 people are not going to turn up on Sunday because that's what it is. It's an interesting dilemma, right? Because they absolutely you guys hated Mike Ashley and all that he did to that club. I absolutely hate ENIC. But if the Saudis had come into Tottenham and wanted to buy it, and I'm still sitting on my fence, I'm being a real quandary about it. I really would, because it's as a person, in terms of my own beliefs and things like that, it would be very difficult for me in terms of, I want ENIC out, but would I want Saudi Arabia in? I don't know. So at the moment, you could say that from a moral point of view and the league position point of view, we're above Newcastle in the league. But before long, Newcastle will be ahead of us, and it's another team that will be ahead of us. But what I would say to you
guys,
that's
not necessarily the case, though, Dave, is it? Because financial fair play to consider, isn't there?
Yeah, but as I said this week, I think financial fair play is a complete load of old bollocks. It was created by Michel Platini, who's banned from being in the game for 2 to 3 years for accepting a payment from Blatter. I haven't seen Chelsea, PSG. I haven't seen any of the big boys excluded from the Champions League. Sponsorship, television rights, all that kind of stuff. They will not want the big boys excluded from the Champions League because of financial fair play. So I think, to use an Aussie expression, it's a complete furphy. What I would say is, and this will come across as patronising to you guys, is that enjoy it, enjoy the ride. Man City fans have got the most massive chip on their shoulder about all of this. They really do. Yeah. Not just Andy was on here before. I listened to 606, and someone was saying that now that the other 5 clubs try to do the European Super League, they don't have the moral high ground on Man City. Man City got their success because of money. Enjoy it. They go on about the fact that Champions League is not that important as the Premier League because they haven't won it. So just enjoy it. That's what you should do. Just enjoy it.
No, I appreciate that 100%. It's and I agree with you. Once the dust settled, it was like, where do I actually stand on this? When I'm talking to, the lads in the Newcastle Fans TV group, we've all got our different opinions. And then when I'm talking to friends outside of that, who are Aston Villa supporters and things like that, because I'm from the Midlands, will have their opinion. I have a conversation with them. I'm like, look, am I over the moon about it? No, because I don't agree with anything that they've done. So I absolutely understand people's point on it. It's just, I can't do anything about it. Do you know what I mean? So it is difficult. It is difficult. I want to support the club and I will continue to support them, but I am in, like I said, a crisis of conscience per se.
Especially working in the media. I mean, the last thing you want is any sort of dismemberment coming your way. Potentially, that's not good.
No,
we're not allowed to say that anymore.
No, it's too soon.
Okay.
But no, I appreciate the banter, definitely.
And John, well, I mean, I'm fully expecting when we play you guys on Sunday there to be a lot of fake shakes in the crowd wearing sort of
it's embarrassing, don't do it. Just don't do it.
John, what's your view on this, mate? What's your view on the takeover? You've been very quiet so far, so let's.
Well, Dave didn't stop talking, did he? It is a tough one. I understand the guy's points. I mean, Newcastle fans are going to go to games, whatever, because they're passionate fans. The same. We've had the conversation about ENIC, haven't we? About our fans are still going to go to games, even though they're not happy. As far as the Saudis, I mean, what can these guys do about it? Do they all just stop going to games? Well, the TV income and the sponsorship and advertising will keep it going, and it will just create more and more fans.
800 million in the bank will probably keep it going. To be fair.
Yeah. I mean, financially, it's not going to be a massive issue. They're here to stay, whether we like it or not. Unfortunately, I did read something the other day that there's a move for the government to now change all the, push the Premier League with who can buy clubs and stuff. It's a bit late now, but it's happened. As far as for FFP, Mike Ashley's actually left the club in a very good position, and they can spend a lot of money very quickly because of, as you've said on there before, caller, transfers are spread over the term of the contract. So they could spend 500 million in the next year if they wanted to, easily, because they know they're going to get Champions League or Europa League, and they're going to get more live games. They're going to get, all the extra income. they'll probably do some upgrades to the stadium, which is a great stadium already, and get more things like we've had with the boxing and NFL, different sort of things like that. So the growth is there big time for that club financially without that much work to start off with. So they can spend a lot. It's whether they can attract the players. Obviously, City, it took a while. Obviously, they signed the likes of Robinho, didn't they? Who was their marquee player to begin with. Even going back to Blackburn, when Jack Walker bought them, they tried to sign Gary Lineker and Paul Stewart from us. And everyone was like, what is this? What's going on here with Blackburn, who were a sleeping giant? 4 or 5 years later, they won the Premier League. So it is possible. Yeah.
It's going to be interesting to see who they sign. It's going to be interesting to see who the manager's going to be, because obviously, how's the Birkin, did you see? He's probably going to be out on his ear after Sunday, isn't he, Josh?
We can hope.
Who would you like to see? So I saw something that warmed the cockles of my heart today when I saw Mourinho being linked with the job. And I thought that'll hold you back for at least another 2 years. So, who do you think it'll be, and who do you want? I mean, I think the person that's on the market is Conte, isn't it? Without putting words in your mouth, but
Conte he's my first choice. But I mean, it's wild to think this time last week we were talking about hopefully getting Eddie Howe out, and now we're talking about the possibility of Conte and Rodgers and people like that. But for me, if you're talking dream manager, then Conte.
Yeah. Do you think that's possible?
I don't know if it's too soon. I don't know if he'll come yet. He's one of these managers that wants success immediately. And with the squad we've got and the rebuild, I don't necessarily know if he's the right man for it.
As Chan's just pointed out, Dele Alli and Winks are both available if you want to take a punt on either of them, Carl. Who would you like to see in the dugout, mate?
I think it's definitely too soon for a Conte ilk sort of manager, because like Josh said, we haven't got the squad to warrant that type of manager at the moment. For me, I'd like someone like either Steven Gerrard, Graham Potter, or maybe even Eddie Howe. But I think we had a couple of people over on the Sky Sports overlap, so it was interesting, and there were some interesting points raised by Carragher, and he was right in saying that nobody wants this job right now, because this is the transition to where we want to be in terms of Man City per se. Everyone wants the after bit, so it's a difficult one. But I'd like to see either Graham Potter, Gerrard, or Eddie Howe. I'd be happy with to start the rebuild.
How do you feel about Frank Lampard?
I'm open to it. I am open to it. I think it would be interesting to see what he could do with a decent enough budget and a squad that would be more suited to his kind of level. Because I think the players that he had at Chelsea, there's some egos in there, and I'd be open to that sort of manager, definitely. Someone who wants to make a statement.
And obviously, and this is a moot point. I think you've got 3 points this season so far. So the club's going to have to reinforce in January, isn't it, Josh? Do you not think? Because surely, I mean, if the Saudis have bought you and send you down, that's the ultimate irony, isn't it?
Yeah, no, it's a case of we need reinforcements to come in January. But we need to get to January, and we need to be in a position where we've got a manager in charge that can take the club forward with the squad we've got at the moment. Because if we get to January and we're cut dry, then I'd be interested to see what the Saudis do. I still think we'll spend money, but I don't think it's going to be as much as people are expecting.
I mean, I've seen Harry Kane linked with you this week. So I think any player who's elite level is being linked with you. Although, to be fair, Harry hasn't been very elite level this season so far. So 150 million, and I'll put him in the car and drive you there. Deal.
I take him just so he doesn't break Shearer's record, to be fair.
Yeah, just sit him on the bench to break his record.
I mean, that's inevitable, isn't it? Dave, John, how are you feeling about this? Who do you think's likely to get the Newcastle job? It's not going to be Bruce long term, is it, Dave?
Well, he's got his 1000th game on the weekend. Yeah, I'm interested. I mean, I think obviously the guys don't like Steve Bruce, but I think kind of the treatment that he's had and the abuse that he's had and apparently the abuse that his family gets and stuff like that is pretty out of order. He was a real Ashley Patsy of an appointment, really, wasn't he? But I think I'm interested to get, I think Benitez, from an outsider's perspective, and I'm interested to get your views, guys. I kind of think Benitez he's quite good at manipulating a relationship between supporters and the ownership and things like that. He kind of did that at Liverpool with those two guys from Trading Places who were in charge of Liverpool at the time from America, right? And he's quite good at manipulating that. But Bruce, I think, has got the same number of points as Benitez or as a comparable record. So I think the abuse that he gets is a bit unfair. Interested to get the guys' thoughts.
Yeah, I think for me, the difference between the two is that Steve Bruce is portrayed as this nice guy, blah blah blah, and I've never come across a more arrogant man in football in my life, to be honest. I'm sure he's a good man manager at times, but tactically, he's probably the poorest manager I've seen in the Premier League. He's won 7 games in 38. He does this at every club he's been at. Aston Villa fans pelted him with cabbages and abused his family. It ruffles my feathers a little bit when the media portray that Newcastle fans have been horrendous towards Steve Bruce, when every fan that's endured Steve Bruce's football has been exactly the same. The difference is that we've been banging the drum to get Mike Ashley out, and I think we've progressed in the age in terms of social media, so a lot of things are put on social media, and absolutely abuse towards his family is disgusting. Nobody will condone that at all, but I just don't get this victim kind of portrayal that he's got at the moment. Like, he's done absolutely nothing in managerial football. Nothing. He's been, with all due respect, he's been nothing but a loser when it comes to a record. Like, he had a good half decent season at Wigan, and he had a half decent couple of years at Birmingham City. For me, he's a championship manager, and I just think there's hypocrisy around him. I really do. He's got a lot of friends in football, and his record speaks for itself. He has the worst winning percentage in the Premier League, does he not? I don't know what else to say, to be honest. He plays centre halves at right wingers at centre half, strikers he leaves on the bench, plays centre midfielders up front, square pegs and round holes every week, but blames the media and the fans for it, and it's just really frustrating. It really is.
Can I just come back on one point you made there? You said that he's the most arrogant man in football. I'd put it to you, our last manager, and I'm not talking Ryan Mason, is the most arrogant man in football, surely. Jose versus Bruce.
Yeah.
We'd win every time.
I mean, I think when I say it, I think it's just this season. He's been very on the front foot towards the local media. So yeah, I mean, I'm probably doing him a bit of a disservice, and some of it's probably warranted, but sometimes it just feels like he's not willing to claim his own mistakes. But yeah, Jose Mourinho is definitely number one. So I'll take that.
But Mourinho backs it up with results. That's the difference.
If you want somebody,
these guys might have a different.
Well, yeah, maybe not at Spurs, but previously.
Well, I think Mourinho. I mean, was he described as a busted flush by someone on the podcast? His methods are very old-fashioned. He's not really had any success in his last couple of clubs. Yeah, he won the FA Cup with Man United, but he was terrible the following season, like literally terrible. And with us, I think the issue was, and I wanted him in, by the way, because of his record. But what I saw on the pitch in terms of the way he played football, or one of the most talented squads in the Premier League with Gareth Bale, Harry Kane, and Heung-min Son in it, and it was just bloody awful. It was honestly, it was like booting long balls up all the time and relying on Son and Kane pretty much to win matches on their own. It was dire. So I hope you get him from that perspective. If I'm really honest, because at least he'll slow your charge down. But yeah, I mean, he is a checkbook manager, so maybe, I don't know. He's always had plenty of money at his disposal before Spurs, and Man United didn't back him with cash either. So maybe you would get success with him. I don't know. Would you be happy with him?
I'd take him just for his links with the club, for his links with Bobby Robson. I think he'd be really well received here, and I do think with the cash that he's likely to get, he'd do well. Players would want to play for him still, so I'd take him.
He's certainly an entertaining character, I have to say. There you go. that's the average feeling of a Spurs fan, I've got to say about Jose. Although the feeling isn't that much warmer right now towards Nuno, so potentially you can have him. We'll talk about that in a minute. So, firstly, Josh? How do you see the game going on Sunday? You guys are obviously going to be massively up for it. Probably the worst possible time to play you. And this evening, we've had the news that 2 Spurs players have tested positive for COVID, Son and Hill. So that's not great either. So
it's great for us. I mean,
yeah.
Son's your best player, so I'm glad he's out of this game. In all honesty, it's going to be a party, isn't it? The ground's going to be electric, and there's not going to be much emphasis on football from our point of view. Do I think we'll win? Probably not, because let's be honest, with Steve Bruce as our manager, we're an awful football inside. But you've got an awful record up here as well, so
it's not good,
who knows? Who knows?
What are you thinking, Carl? You're going to get a tactical masterclass from Mr. Bruce tomorrow?
You joke, but that will be what happens 100%. Just to shut us all up, and he'll be given more time. That's Steve Bruce all over it.
3-year contract.
Happened last season when we didn't get a win in like 22 games, and then we went on like a 5 or 6 game winning streak, and he just shut everyone up. So, and I think one of them was probably a result against yourself as well. So, I think because of the occasion, like you say, it's quite it's not the best time for you guys to play us, and I think a lot of the players as well will be more than up for it because they want to prove that they're good enough to stay at the club. So, I think we could nick a 2-1 maybe, and Joe Linton of all people loves a goal against you. So. Yeah, Callum Wilson, John Joe Shelby are back as well. So Callum Wilson being back in the side makes a massive difference. There you go. Yeah, I'm running with HT of the cheese ring.
So Maximum's good, isn't he? He's a bit good.
Class.
Yeah, he's probably your best player, I'd say. I mean, from what I've seen, he's the one who worries me the most. John, how do you see Spurs lining up for this one? And are you as bullish about our chances as me, I suppose?
I can't see us winning now, I have to say. Maybe a draw at best. Lining up, well, obviously Hugo in goal. I'm not sure what situation, whether all of our South American players will play or not. It's either going to be Emerson or Tanganga at right back, obviously. I think Romero, if he's okay after travelling back, will start alongside Dyer, who will no doubt give us a standard mistake to give Joe Linton a goal. Reggie at left back, midfield, Skippy, Shannon's boyfriend, Højbjerg in midfield. Then it's going to be on Ndombele, Kane and Lucas, and who the last player will be down to who's fit, I guess. If I don't know where Bergie's at, if he's almost ready yet, or hopefully he doesn't put Lo Celso as one of those front three, because we know that doesn't work. He needs to play midfield. I'm a bit stuck, really. He's not going to put Scarlett in, is he? Who else do we play?
Delhi.
Delhi, yeah.
Delhi.
You're not loving that, John?
No, Delhi's been awful for a long time, hasn't he?
Yeah, for about 3 years, isn't it?
Yeah.
No, Delhi's going to have a great game. January the 1st, Newcastle coming in 50 minutes. Off he goes.
He can sit on our bench. He's fine.
Fine. All good.
Weeks in there, that's what I'm saying. We'll give you 2 homegrown players. There you go. Dave, how do you see it going, mate?
Well, look, I predicted in the Patron competition, I'd said that we'd lose 2-1 before Son and Hill were out. I think we'd lose 2-1. I'm having a shocker in fantasy football this year, so I played my wild card and jiggling the squad around. I've got rid of St. Maxim, so he's definitely going to get a hat trick tomorrow. He's definitely going to hat trick. I've had a shocker. So I think it's a struggle. I didn't think our record was too bad up at Newcastle the last few years. Last season, I think it was 2-2 after Eric Lamela did one of his famous breakaway. He's got 2 decent passes on. He screws it up, and then they go and score it up the other end. Thanks, Eric. And I think the cut season before that, I think we've won. So we've not got too bad a record up there. And, if you hadn't had a change of ownership, if Mike Ashley was still there, Steve Bruce was there, I'd be really confident. But now, nah. I think, and especially with Son, Son's our best player, and he's not playing. Yeah. So I think Ndombele will play for 70 minutes. Ndombele might play 90 minutes because he might want to and really try, because he might want his move up to Newcastle as well. So you might see 90 minutes out of Ndombele.
He's always dreamed of playing in the northeast.
And then Winks will come on and play expansive 40-yard passes. So we might see a few Tottenham players doing things we've never seen before. Like Winks does a defence splitting pass 40 yards, and he's really good in front of the defence. You might see all that, and then we'll know what's going on.
This is just some like parallel universe you're living in, Dave. There's no way Winks is capable of spraying a football 40 yards.
For a promise of a 150 grand a week contract, but I think he might.
I tell you, I'm not so sure about it. So
he can back past 40 yards to Hugo. That's about it.
He can back past 40 yards. He absolutely can. John, Son and Brian, COVID positive. I know we've touched on it. Massive blow, isn't it?
I think actually the chaps probably don't realise they haven't probably seen much of Brian Hill. To us, he's looking a player. He's not just skillful and quick, but he's putting challenges in. He absolutely took out Adama Traore 2 or 3 times in that cup game.
Yes.
And he's tiny, but he just did not care. He went straight for sliding tackles, took him out. He's going to be a real player for us, I think, without doubt. Great signing. And for all those doubting Paratici, him and Romero, I think, are 2 very good signings for us. And I think the future could be all right if we give him a bit of time. Anyway, back to that. Obviously, Son had a really good game against Villa. And you think when he starts going like that, he goes on a run, doesn't he, and starts scoring goals. So it's a big, big blow. He's going to be out for 3 games? West Ham away is probably even bigger game to miss as well.
Yeah, it is. Right. Their cup final every year.
Oh,
massively. Like your local rivals are what? Middlesbrough, probably.
Sunderland, isn't it?
Or Sunderland? I don't know. Where are Sunderland? I mean, you haven't really got any rivals, have you? There's no one in the Premier League.
It's probably Gateshead now, to be fair.
Like literally every other week's a derby for us, and they all hate us.
Yeah,
it's just unreal. I don't know what we've done to all these clubs, but
what is who's your biggest rival in the Premier League? Is it Leeds?
Villa.
Yeah,
Villa.
It is Villa. It is Villa because of the sub and the Tyne stuff when we got relegated. We played them and we were relegated to them, and they were just giving us absolutely loads of stick outside the ground and stuff like that, and it just never really. Like, no one let it go, and it just kind of manifested itself from there. So me being from the area just made it 10 times worse as well. So, like, I just get stick on a daily basis. But now, you know, it's all changed hands. So they've all kicked me out the WhatsApp groups, obviously.
You're the richest club in the world. Yeah. Okay. Guys, Josh, Carl, who do you fear in the Spurs team that's likely to face you? Obviously, with Son out. That's him out of question.
Who do you fear that doesn't have COVID in the Spurs?
Me personally, I've always been like a big fan of the Spurs side, especially over the last 4 or 5 years. Kane, obviously. I do like Ndombele as a player. You know, who else is in there that I'm trying to think of now? No, obviously, you know, I know he's potentially out with COVID, but Son for me, one of the best players in the Premier League on his day. Trying to think who else at the moment, but you know, Kane and Ndombele stand out for me. I like Ndombele a lot, especially last season. I've not really seen much of him this season, so I don't know how he.
Nor have we really, to be honest.
Oh, really? Okay, fair enough. But yeah, Harry Kane's always going to be a threat, obviously.
Ndombele pissed Nuno off, I think, in well, he just seems to piss every manager off, if I'm being really honest. So he didn't pick him for the first, couple of months, and then all of a sudden he appeared in the starting 11 quite recently. Has he started about 2 games? Has he, Dave, or is it 3?
A season, I think he's started about 3 or 4.
He is coming into the fold now. I'd expect him to play against you guys, and I'd expect him hopefully to have that loose role behind the forwards and not being asked to be a box-to-box midfielder like we keep asking to do, which is just completely bonkers. Dave, John's left me. So who do you fear in the Newcastle United team?
We all fear the Sheikh, but we can't go into that. Sorry. St. Maxim, he looks a really good player. As I said, I've dropped him out of my fantasy team. He's bound to score a hat-trick. I think he looks a good player. I think that Wilcott, who got in from Arsenal, I had him in the fantasy team at the start of the season. He wasn't doing that well, so no doubt he'll do well as well. He's a decent player. I don't know why the Gooners got rid of him. It was just ridiculous. So I think those two are who I fear the most. I've always had a little bit of I know this might sound weird, but I've always had a little bit of soft spot for Shelvey. I think he's quite an underrated player, actually. I don't think he hasn't quite made it. I mean, he developed at Liverpool, didn't he? And I think that I think he's quite a good player. I think he's underrated. I really do.
His final ball's amazing.
Yeah,
but
occasionally,
head, isn't he?
Occasionally.
Didn't he get
his
set
final
off
ball's
against
not always great. He's very much a Hollywood player, isn't he? He plays
big game player though, isn't he?
Yeah.
So he's going to put himself in. He'll be turning up tomorrow.
He'll play well Sunday just because he's been out for a few weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he'll play well Sunday, because he's obviously looking for that big pay rise. So he'll turn up and
he'll be looking for a move to your lot, won't he? Once he can't get in our team.
I was actually thinking to myself, he probably doesn't want to be stoned publicly, so he'll be playing for his life.
Well, you're getting into this quite nicely. You're settling into being the richest club in the world. Quite nice. You're doing well. You've already settled. You've only been a week, and you're doing really well. I'm impressed with this. Next, when we play you again, imagine the ego is going to be even bigger. I'm looking forward to it.
We're still in shock, man.
Full marks to you. You're getting into this well.
You'll be the richest club in the Championship before you know it. I would love that. I mean, I know you're going to surpass us quite possibly, and all the rest of it in a few years. But I just love that strapline, richest club in the Championship. It'd be very amusing.
They'll still beat us at home.
This is what I just want to make out.
I interrupted you, Dave. Carry on.
Yes.
Yeah, no. That's kind of in terms of Newcastle. That's who I kind of fear at the moment. But but with Son out, Son's been our best player this season. He really he's a great player. I think he's at the peak now of his career. My only concern about him, COVID aside, is that we just don't. He the last 2 or 3 months of last season, he got very tired. He didn't play that well. He was overplayed, and that's the issue. Hill, everyone's excited about Hill because he offers something a little bit different. But he's definitely one for the future, and that's for Ndombele. As I said, if you give us 50 million, I'll drive him up. I'll fly from Australia and drive him up. And
really, am I overrating him then?
I think he's just like
he's divisive.
I think he's him, Lo Celso, Dele. They're all interchangeable. I don't rate them, and I'd like to see him go over a staggered period of time. And I think Ndombele will start because he hasn't travelled because he doesn't play for his country anymore, unsurprisingly. And Lo Celso travels, so I think Ndombele will start. His best position is just behind the front and not in front of the midfield, so he doesn't have to do any work. He'll do stuff and fits and starts. But again, you might see 90 minutes out of him because he wants to move. But I think the one that you guys may not be aware of so much is Skip, who was out on Norwich on loan last year. As I like to say, he went out a boy, came back a man. He's been really good. And alongside Højbjerg as the pivot in front is much better. And as long as Nuno doesn't play 4-3-3, we have got a bit of a chance.
But he will. He will play 4-3-3.
No, he didn't against Villa.
No way.
He didn't. He played 4-2-3-1 v Villa, and we looked a lot better for it.
Yeah, but he's going all the way up to Newcastle. I can just see him just reverting to type. I can just see it now, Dave. I really can, particularly if players unavailable. I'm
because he's travelling a longer distance. He's going to play 4-3-3.
No,
and if he was just popping around the corner,
he's going to set up a lot more defensively, is what I mean, because he knows he's going to a team who've got their tails up ultimately, and I think you'll see that as I've got to close it down.
I think that having a 4-2-3-1, he's having 2 in the front of the back 4. I think that's setting up defensively anyway. But I think you should go with that.
We weren't defensive against Villa, I think, Dave. That's my point. It was like a basketball match. Like, literally, we were trying to... It was back and forth, back and forth, back and forth all the time. So I can't see him leaving us that open. It'll almost certainly be Mourinho ball, I think on Sunday. But we'll see. We will see. John, you back with us now?
Just about, if the laptop keeps going.
Well, let me ask you a question then.
Have
you got a positive Newcastle versus Spurs memory? What a reaction. Jesus Christ.
Oh gosh, I can't really remember a lot of the games. I remember the 5-1 at the end of the that season when Newcastle went down. Obviously, most of our better results have been away. I mean, at St James's. Probably if you go back to the 90s, we had a great game at White Hart Lane with Klinsmann and Sheringham up front, where we beat them 4-2, and Teddy scored a hat trick, didn't he? And that was a really good Newcastle team. That was a cracking game. I'm not sure I've actually been to a game where Newcastle played us. Away wise, I can just remember there was the 4-0, wasn't there? And Nasser Chadley pulled out a worldie from the corner of the box. Yeah, I mean, you should always expect goals, so it'll be 0-0 on Sunday, no doubt. But yeah, I think it's going to be a tough game. They're going to be really up for it. I'm just wondering if Firmino's going to suddenly go to the back three, which we're not expecting all of a sudden, because we've got a few centre backs, and I'm seeing Paul Muir's favourite Joe Rogan getting lots of comments going up. Maybe he'll try that, or 50p Sanchez gets a go again, as he's not played for Colombia.
Yeah, I think Sanchez will almost certainly be in the side. I think he'll almost certainly be in the side because he hasn't played. Dave, you're shaking your head. Is that because you've got a better Spurs versus Newcastle memory, or you're just disgusted?
No, I mean, the memory, the one that John just said, that game against Kevin Keegan's Newcastle, Klinsmann Sheringham, that was a cracking game, 4-2. That was. I remember that. I was there that day. Brilliant football, and we had a half decent team. As has been posted on here by your good selves, the Newcastle 7, Spurs 1. So Newcastle managed by Kevin Keegan, Spurs managed by Jerry Francis, and it was Kevin Keegan who resigned about 3 weeks later, not Jerry Francis. So I worked that one out. And then I think my least favourite memory is the 99 FA Cup semi-final at Old Trafford. I was watching it at stupid o'clock in Australia. We had an absolute clear handball, Dabizas handball, and then you won it 2-0, Shearer at the end. So
absolute screamer as well.
Yeah, that's right. We were absolutely robbed that day, and I think that's part of our wonderful run in FA Cup semi-finals. But definitely the 95 game at White Hart Lane, that's a standout memory.
Okay, well, you chaps have posted your favourites already. Do we need to cover them? I mean, there's nothing good there that I can see. Josh, your favourite memory?
Probably the FA Cup semi-final. It was just a different world that day. But there's been a few, as I said, the 7-1, the 5-1. Even, was it the 3-2 at your place a few years ago where Perez scored in the last minute? That was a good day out. I was sitting in the Tottenham Inn for that one, and that was exciting. Kept my cool for 90 minutes until that one slotted in, and then I got kicked out 2 seconds later. So,
Wow.
I remember you beat us 4-1, didn't you? And Michael Owen ran the game from midfield, which was really random. That's when Keegan came back, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And then there was another one when you got, I can't remember the striker's name. African guy scored a worldie, didn't he?
Yeah, that's one I was just going to say. It was 2007, I think. We won 3-1. Martin scored 45th minute, absolute screamer, top bins. That was probably my favourite, definitely.
Wow. Is that your favourite, is it, Carl?
Yeah, just for that Obafemi Martins goal on the stroke of half time. It's absolutely disgusting.
Yeah, well, I think that's pretty much what we thought, to be honest. All right, then. Here we go. Here's a question for you. We'll go around the room. I'm not going to give it to Davo because he helped in constitution of this run sheet. Can you name players who've played for both teams? Shout out, and you can play along in the chat. Fire them in there. So players who played for both teams. Who?
Sir Les.
Oh, Les Ferdinand. Yeah.
Les Ferdinand.
Yeah, you had the best of him, to be fair. Yeah, you had much the best of him.
We should never have sold him.
No.
Yeah, but he went out with Danny Bear, so that was all
right. You got, John? Can you think of any?
Kevin Scott. What a terrible player he was.
Carr, there's a good one. Yeah.
Stephen Carr.
Obviously, this man, David Ginola, one of the most talented players I think I've ever seen, actually.
Mm-hmm.
I thought Ginola, he was brilliant.
Raul Fox?
Yeah.
Raul Fox, yeah.
Musa Sissoko.
Oh, how do you forget?
How good did it feel when we paid £30 million to take Musa Sissoko off your hands?
Do you know what?
Is it as good as the Saudis buying the club?
It was close. It was close. And it was. I think what was annoying about that is there was always glimpses of talent with Musa Sissoko, but you just realise very quickly he's got no heart. So yeah, I was absolutely over the moon when you bought him for 30 mil. Everyone's like, "Oh, he's going to be this, this, and this." I was like, "Fucking take him, take him."
Yeah.
We would have taken 5 mil.
His debut against Chelsea was brilliant, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, sensational.
Yeah, he looked like this worldy player, and it was all false dawn.
Yeah.
Well, he made Ashley Cole look average that day, and not many players have ever done that. He just storm raided him for 90 minutes and then turned into what he turned into. So thank you for taking him.
Was his first touch as bad at Newcastle as it is at Spurs? Because he's just like one of those players that like touches the ball and it flies off like 5 meters in front of him, like you're in the playground. He's literally got. I've never seen a professional footballer with as bad a touch as him. Was he always the same?
Yes. Yes.
Oh.
In the short answer, yes.
I can't believe that no one said this one.
Oh God, yeah. Jesus Christ.
What a player. What a player.
Jermaine Genius as well.
Jermaine Genius.
You can't say Genius and Gaza together.
Oh, please.
no,
You can't.
That's
Genius,
travesty.
best thing Genius ever does is present the one show.
I've got to say, Genius is a better presenter than Gaza.
Well, yeah. It's not hard, is it?
There's a couple more. Chris Waddle. Townsend.
Love Townsend.
Yeah. He's turned into a player again this season, hasn't he? For
Yeah.
Everton?
Under Rafa.
I don't quite understand what's going on with that boy because, like, he's had more clubs than Tiger Woods, but he can turn it on when he needs to, can't he? He really can. He really can. Who else have we got on your list then, Dave? Yedlin. He's still there, isn't he?
No, he's at Galatasaray now.
Oh, is he? There you go. Shows what I know.
We got rid of him and we've not got any right backs. It made sense.
Oh, really? Was he any good for you guys? Because he was just fast. That's what I kind of... He didn't barely play for us, really.
He was... his pace just got him out of a lot of bad situations. But I preferred him as in terms of what we had at the right back position. But club didn't fancy him, so...
Interesting one. Any on your list I haven't mentioned, Dave?
There's some obscure ones.
Danny Rose, obviously, on loan.
Scotty Parker.
Yeah.
Oh, good shout.
That is a good shout. That is a good shout. Danny Rose. Did Danny Rose play much for you when he was up there?
I want to say, like, wasn't it like
Yeah,
3
plenty of
games
fish
he
and
started or
chips.
something, Josh?
Yeah,
Pretty sure he
no
started
more
like
than
3
that.
games.
He was so far off the boil when he was up there.
Yeah.
He was terrible.
Unfit, wasn't he, I think?
Yeah.
Unfit.
Yeah.
Wanted him to do well as well. Really wanted him to do well. Just didn't happen.
I think there's
Do you know
a
what?
lot
I'll give him his dues. He was great in some aspects away from the football pitch. He supported a lot of things around the Newcastle United Foundation, and he was sensational and stuff like that.
I'll tell you, same as Spurs. Same as Spurs.
Yeah.
He still goes to watch the under-18s, I think it is now, and gives them advice, which is pretty amazing. And gives
Yeah,
the
definitely.
super chat for some Stilton. Thank you, Gov. We'll definitely put that in the kitty and buy a cheese platter for our next get together.
Can I just ask, without being stupid, like, where does the name, where's the cheese podcast come from? What's the
The
thinking
Cheese
behind
Room
it?
podcast. That is a
Cheese
very
Room,
good
sorry.
question. It's a question we do get a lot of. We do get a lot. So basically, when Spurs were building the new stadium and knocking down the historic White Hart Lane,
Yeah.
there was they were sort of saying, "Oh, there's going to be a rock climbing wall. There's going to be a skywalk. 2,000 executive boxes, and it's even going to have its own cheese room."
Oh, right.
So the cheese room sort of became a mockery of the whole stadium project. So we adopted the name. The irony being the cheese room actually never got built. There is a fine winery in the stadium. It's called the Vault, and it's got
really?
thousands of pounds worth of hundreds of thousands of pounds worth of alcohol in it. The Saudis would hate it. Sorry, I can't help myself.
It's fine. I think it's you've got to do it, haven't you?
Absolutely. I'm sure if the shoe was on the other foot, you'd be hitting me with it.
Josh is doing it anyway, mate. So
if only the shoe was on the other foot.
I'm behaving. I'm behaving.
You are not behaving. You're antagonising these wonderful gentlemen. We come here for a civilised conversation.
No, you're all right, Josh. I mean, we had a guy. If you ever run into Manchester City Fan TV, there's a chap called Andy. who managed to rub up everybody the wrong way. It made a great show. I've got to be honest, it was hilarious.
Mine's just done in jest. Mine's done in good humour.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
Yeah, he had a trigger word, which was 2008. As soon as someone said 2008, off he went. So that might be your trigger. 2021 could be your trigger word.
It was two. I think there was 2 or 3 trigger words. Oil club. That was definitely those 2 words definitely triggered him. Well, you've just got to own it, haven't you? If you've got like 800 billion quid's worth of oil revenue, you know, at your disposal, I'd just be like, yeah, we're an oil club. What are you going to do about it?
Yeah, but the difference is they've got that. Everyone's calling us murderers, so it's a difficult.
I mean, not you personally, Carl.
No, but I'm not. But I'm getting called.
Yeah, you'll be surprised what we're getting as fans on social media. It's insane.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of insane people. I mean, if Twitter's the barometer for sanity, then we're all in trouble. All right, here's one for you then, boys. Can you tell me who has managed both clubs? And again, play along in the chat. But give them a minute. Let them think about it first.
I might be wrong in saying this. Is Glenn Roeder managed both of us?
Don't believe so.
What do I think Glenn Roeder?
Was it our dealers?
Yes, Ozzy Ardiles.
Very good.
Very good, Josh.
I didn't want to give that answer just in case.
What was that
wrong,
like?
to be fair.
When was it at Newcastle? Like 98, 88, 87, something like that?
Yeah. There's one other person who's sort of managed both clubs.
Oh, I know. Do you want it?
Go on then, John. Go on then.
Chris Hughton.
Correct.
Oh, Chrissy Hooton.
Chrissy
What a
Hooton.
legend. What a legend.
Do you like that guy?
We do.
He's very popular
Absolutely.
as well, I've got to say. And you know, I think he's been treated pretty shockingly by most of his employers, if I'm honest. But over the years, he's never had a lucky break, really.
I love Chrissy Hooton. What a player. Great player. Great.
What a man.
Through. Yeah, Tottenham man through and through. You know, great. And by all accounts, everyone says what a great guy he is. So he's proper Tottenham.
He was absolutely fantastic at Newcastle, getting us back into the Premier League. And then Alan Pardew was lauded for all the success that Chris Hughton created, which is frustrating. But yeah, Hughton was unfairly sacked. It was a disgrace at how he was treated at Newcastle after what he'd done.
And I'm obviously the only one old enough to see him play, and he was a great player as well. Great player. Great fullback.
Pardew was well liked though, wasn't he?
When we finish fifth, maybe.
Yeah, like you look back, because at the time, I just thought he was an absolute clown. But you look back, and it was one of the most successful seasons that we've ever had. So.
I take Pardew over Bruce every day of the week.
Well, for a season like that season,
yeah, absolutely.
Fifth, yeah.
He's still a legend for that dancing gift that's doing the rounds all the time.
Do you know he played for us, Pardew?
Did he?
Yes, I saw him play for us.
How many times did he play for us?
In the Intertoto. We were playing at Brighton's ground. It was in the mid-90s. Spent the night in the Zap Club, and then we watched Tottenham versus whoever, and Alan Pardew was playing for us because we got a load of players in just for the summer to play in the Intertoto. So yeah, he did play for us.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
There you go. He was a good forward, wasn't he? Is it forward?
Midfielder.
Midfielder.
He played the 1990 FA Cup, Palace versus. Was he? No, I think he's a defender.
I vaguely remember him, but obviously I'm not as old as you.
Is anyone?
Still in my 30s. Dave, you're celebrating a birthday, aren't you?
Next week, yeah.
You excited?
Yeah, it's a big 5-0 next week, so yeah, I am excited.
What are your plans? Now lockdown's over in Australia. Can you go wild or?
Well, with the massive social media profile on here, I don't really want to say what my plans are in case the paparazzi snap me. So I'd rather not.
Love that.
So what are you doing then?
Go for
Going out for a meal, aren't you? You going out for a
go
meal?
for curry. I go for curry. Down the road.
Okay. Here's again one for you, Carl and Josh. Who was a coach at Newcastle, and firstly coach, but then a manager at Spurs? Oh,
not a clue.
Frantically googling. No. One of Spurs' most successful managers, if that helps.
That's not hard for you to work out.
I'm just trying to think he was a coach at Newcastle.
This is a long time ago, though, isn't it, Dave? What year would this be? Here he is.
I think he was the coach at Newcastle. Were in the FA Cup final '74 against Liverpool. I think he was the coach. That's how long ago it was.
Keith Birkinshaw.
I wouldn't have
Very,
known
very much before my time. That.
Yeah. Well, I mean, to put it into context, that's the last time we were really successful, wasn't it? But we have got the best stadium in the world, so there you go. Right. Let's talk the game again. So let's go around the room and get a bit of a scorecast. So what do we think the score is likely to be? John?
1-1.
And who's going to score?
Till Linton. No, I think I've had a mind block. Who's the striker?
Callum
Who's
Wilson.
striker takes penalties?
For us, Harry Kane.
No, for Newcastle.
Callum Wilson.
Callum Wilson will score. And I think is Kane going to... Having seen Kane for England, no, he's not going to score. Romero.
Romero?
Yeah, just mix it up.
Fair enough. Josh, what's the score going to be, mate?
2-1 to the Mags. Callum Wilson and Maxi.
And who?
Callum
Max
Wilson and
Maximum.
Maxi. St. Maximin.
Maxi, is that his name?
Yeah.
He's like Traore, but he can put the ball in there.
Super Maxi.
In that he can rip a team to pieces.
Better than
Carl.
Traore.
Wow, that's an interesting point. I'll come back to that. Carl, your view? What's the score going to be? Who's going to score?
Any other day, and it would be a Spurs result all day. But I think just because the occasion, I'll go 2-1 as well. And I'm going to go Joe Linton brace.
J7.
And Harry Kane. Yeah, Harry Kane will get a goal against us, I think.
Right. Dave, come on then. Voice of positivity and reason.
Still 2-1 to the Geordies, and definitely St. Maxine's going to get 2 because I dropped him out of the fantasy team. That's the prediction.
Well, screw you all. I'm going to say we're going to win 3-1 because someone's got to be representing the Tottenham optimistically. You know, Sam Lee's in there. There you go. Sam Lee also says 3-1. Well done, Sam.
And who's going to score for Tottenham?
Lucas. I think Lucas is going to score. Kane's going to score. And Shan's man, Højbjerg, will get a goal. What do you think of Højbjerg, guys? Is he someone you admire, you'd want to, bid on?
Yeah. Definitely.
Josh, you're not looking at
He's decent enough.
I think, it's not realistic that we're going to get these types of players, though, to be honest. It's not.
We would take anyone at this point. Like, we're still in that transition where we would... The names being thrown around are just insane to us because we've had nothing for years. So to be linked with all these players, we're still getting our heads around it as fans. It's just incredible. So, yeah, we'll take anyone.
I'll tell you what we should have done is we should have got the last transfer rumours involving Newcastle from the summer up and sort of played a bit of would you take them in January?
It was Joe Willock. That was it.
Was it really Joe Willock?
Yeah, it was, yeah.
He's not a bad player though, is he? He's done all right so far, hasn't he? He scored against us last season, didn't he? I believe.
Yeah, he was fantastic. He was probably our best, our most effective player towards the back end of last season. He's not hit the ground running as much as he did last season because he basically scored in every game that he played in. But no, he's a solid player. I think the problem is that he was injured a couple of weeks ago, and he was actually in a boot, in like a moon boot for his foot, 2 days before the Watford game, I think it was. And we were expecting him to be injured. Then out of nowhere, Steve Bruce played him, and he's been injured ever since. But he's still playing him. It's ridiculous. So, yeah, he's cropped him already. I think he's done it on purpose out of spite.
Wow. Well, look, I know if you guys want to clock off there. For help, thanks very much for helping us with the preview. Or you can hang around; it's completely up to you. I would say I wish you all the best on Sunday, but I don't, and I hope we smash you and ruin your shake, rattle, and roll party.
Nothing's going to ruin that party. Absolutely nothing.
Wow.
I'd love to stay, but I have a 6-week-old baby that I've got to attend to. But no, I've really enjoyed it. Thank you very much for having me on. It's been a good crack. It really has. Enjoyed the banter, so I'd love to come on again. Definitely.
Yeah, definitely. We try and get people on representing the opposition view on a Friday before the game. So, and absolutely, if you want us to come on, just drop us a line. But thanks very much for joining us. Good luck spending your money.
I mean, like you said, chances are, mate, the next time this happens, we'll probably be in the Championship anyway. So,
Rich's team in the Championship. Cheers, guys. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Guys.
Cheers, guys.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Right, let's carry on. International break. John, what's the damage? 2 COVID players out. Is that it?
I haven't heard any other rumours. I think we're all pretty good, aren't we?
Wow.
You're going to tell me I'm wrong?
I've heard. I think we're all right. I saw someone saying Romero scored a smashing header. There you go.
Shan said that.
Shan said that, and
Didn't she say that?
She said Emerson scored
Emerson.
2. I mean, this is all boding well, isn't it, Dave? Where are we worried about goals coming from? Right back scoring, centre back scoring. It's happy days.
I thought Emerson he looked good against Villa. He had a good game. I think we were all a little bit worried. But to be honest with you, he had a very difficult debut with Zaha up against him and both central defenders off the pitch, and then the sight of Ben Davies coming on. It's never going to help anyone in their debut, is it? So but he did look all right actually against Villa. I thought he had a good game, crunching tackles and good getting forward. And I think we even saw a Tottenham right back put in an accurate cross. I don't think we've seen that for decades. In that game. So I think that's good. Whether he plays all the South Americans, I think is a big question. So hello there.
John, there's a cat in your keyboard.
It's a Newcastle cat.
I'm not going to start talking about pussies again.
No, don't. John, what is the name of the cat, though?
That's Milo.
Milo,
yeah.
Where's Stitch?
Not here.
Yeah, it is a comment. Hill and Son were training with everyone, but they're out with COVID. Well, I think it's still waiting to be confirmed, but the sources are saying, and they are reliable sources, Ali Gold, for one, saying that is the case. It doesn't make any sense because you would think that the COVID testing would pick it up before they train with anyone. They'd be COVID tested, surely, wouldn't they?
I mean, Nuno's press conference, he did allude to the fact that I think he got asked a question about what's his formation, how he's going to line up, and he said that he's considering a few things before kick. I mean, he did make an allusion to the fact that there were some injuries or otherwise in the squad, which might have been around that. So I think I like Nuno's press conferences because he'd rather be anywhere but in a press conference. He downplays it a lot. I think it makes a nice change for Mourinho, but apparently that's not energetic enough for some Spurs supporters who want him out.
Well, I mean, I've got to be honest. When I saw us play against Arsenal, did you not think you wanted him out at that point?
Well, I saw. Look, as I said, I only watched the 20 minutes highlights reel without knowing the score. And as I said, as soon as I saw the lineup, that was it. I knew we were going to lose. But I kind of think that with him at the moment, as I've said on here before, he's dealt with the Kane situation very well.
Yeah.
He hasn't had a huge amount of training sessions with the team. He had to deal with the players going to South America when they shouldn't have, and then coming back to quarantine. He's been dealt with some very difficult, tricky cards. I think that I'm hoping he's landed on the formation that we need to have, which is the one against Villa. Because I think he'd be better off with 3 at the back and wing backs, but he's not going to play it. So 4-2-3-1 is the way to go. He's been dealt with some tricky cards, and people saying, "Oh, we've got to get rid of him." Well, who else are we going to get in? Ryan Mason? It's just not realistic. No,
it doesn't sound like it is. But there are other managers on the market, aren't there?
Like who?
Ryan Mason. There will be. There's Conte.
He's not coming though.
We've already done that dance with him.
Yeah.
We went to tea and afternoon ballroom dancing with him, and he didn't want to fill our dance card, and off he went.
Well, you know how I feel. I'd write Potter a check and say, "How much do you want?" But here's the thing: he is likely to go somewhere like Newcastle now, isn't he? He'd have an open checkbook and be able to, do what he wants, put his stamp on it. It would be his opportunity. So he wants this space on that one, but I wouldn't be surprised at all to see them go hell for leather for Potter. You're shaking your head, Dave? You disagree?
I think Potter is. I think we approached him in the summer, and he said he didn't want to buy it.
We approached Dave, we approached everyone in the summer. One paper said that we approached Potter and he had no interest. It's bullshit. We didn't go out there and set our stall for anybody. We flip-flopped around time and time again. Now, I'm telling you now, Graham Potter would have absolutely been at Spurs if we made a solid approach. We said, here's your compensation. Here's a massive contract. We want you as our man. We could have done that with anyone. But the reality is we flip-flopped about and looked for the, who's out of work, who's a cheaper option, all the rest of it. It's not that he doesn't want to come. There are lots of managers that would love to come to Spurs. Love. It's a massive job still. Massive job. Despite your views on ENIC and everything else.
I'm not sure that I think there's look at Conte, who's the best available manager. He took one look at us. He had the chat, he took a look at us, and he decided it's not for him. I think we went after Potter in the summer, and I think that he turned it down. And I think that he's biding his time. It's interesting with Newcastle because if you look at City, they had Mark Hughes there, didn't they? Already, and he lasted about a year and a bit. And you look at when Abramovich took over at Chelsea, they had Ranieri there. It was like a dead man walking. So it may well be that they might. I can't see. There's no way Bruce is going to last long there.
No,
I mean, they're going to be very. The new owners are going to be sensitive to public opinion, unlike their home country, boom tish. And they are going to. I think they'll get rid of Bruce. I think they'll look at. They're looking at their infrastructure to start with, a director of football, and then they'll take it from there.
It's from Gav, who's put in a super chat. Thanks very much for your support, Gav, once again. So remember, the media said Brendan turned us down in the summer. Now the media are reporting he's got a 60 million release clause. So it's most likely we wouldn't want to pay that release clause. Absolutely the case. I guess Brendan Rodgers to Newcastle, though, isn't out of the situation, is it?
Well, he left Celtic and went to Leicester, didn't he? So if the money's there, why wouldn't he go? The only thing is he's got a good young squad at Leicester. They're having a bit of a wobble, aren't they, this year? But he's obviously not the most. He'll go where he wants to go, won't he?
Yeah, I think Gov's point is we didn't want to pay for a manager fundamentally, and I completely agree. I think if we'd have gone after someone hard, we could have got them, but we were trying to do it fairly on the cheap, right? Yeah,
but 60 million is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Any more than 10 million would have been quite a lot of money, wouldn't it? Potter, I would take Potter. I think we talked about this a lot, haven't we? But do you go back to the whole argument of what have they won? I know Nuno's won nothing, but that's always what gets thrown at us, isn't it, with Poch? What's he won every time? But we're not probably in that position, are we, that we can just go and get we tried to get the ready-made and he was useless for us, Mourinho. So who do we get?
Brendan wants to let you know that his release clause is far more than that, and he's fully committed to the cheese room and looking forward to a strong season. That's funny, Brendan, because whilst you were in the UK, you did approximately 2 shows. So I'm not sure that commitment is your middle name. I'm joking.
He just wants beer, that's all.
Love you, Brad. Shout out, Brad. He's probably out slaughtering a pig and barbecuing it right now, which, again, is something that would probably be frowned upon in Saudi Arabia.
Do you think the Newcastle game, the press box will be all taped up? There'll be no press box anymore because of the new ownership, the Saudis' free media.
No, they'll be all lined up with machetes out the back. Like Ali Gold needs to watch it. Seriously, he needs to watch out. I tell you, don't go writing anything nasty. Don't go writing anything nasty. I just don't buy the narrative we're turned down. Yeah, I'd agree with that as well. I think we're linked with lots of people. I'm not sure about the truth. We'll never know. Football style. Newcastle will smash you. As long as they don't dismember me, that's all good. Happy with that. What is that? Is that the same cat, John?
Yeah. Yeah, he's just wandering by. He just wants fuss.
Pussy galore, you are.
So after the Newcastle game, we got West Ham. Is that right?
We've got Vitesse, haven't we?
Vitesse in the Europa League, and then we've got West Ham. Who fancies that then? West Ham. They're cup final.
Not now. I mean, West Ham haven't done well after their Europa games, have they? Because they've been playing pretty strong first 11 in those Europa games, whereas we've been resting some. But they're at home, we're away. So you've got to say they're going to be the favourites.
Yeah, I mean, it's not very often you put West Ham and favourites in a sentence, but it does look like that is the case.
Moyes has made a big difference.
Moyes has shown what a manager can do. I think if you give him time, a bit of time, and he's had a bit of money to spend as well there, and I think he's done well. But he didn't have the best of starts. They've just backed him over a period of time, haven't they? And I suppose ultimately
they got rid of him. They got rid of him and put Pellegrini in.
And I suppose this is the point. Can we just trust Nuno for now? I think the problem is Nuno is always one result away from like being a. No, I'm not going to say. I'm not going to put another Saudi joke in, but a lamb to the slaughter. He's always like one big loss away from being called into question again, isn't he? And I suppose the problem is that it does appear that the club haven't really backed Nuno, and he may be a placeholder. I suppose that's the problem, isn't it? That's why so many people question it, isn't it?
I mean, is it Levy's logic that he's got Nuno in place, and at the end of Nuno's contract, Poch comes back?
Well, Poch will be back a lot sooner than that on current form, won't he? Because he's managed to piss off Messi and like lose to a team. He's lost a couple of games, so I would imagine he's on thin ice in at PSG. Is he not? Dave?
I think Poch will be there for the season, and if he can't win the Champions League, then he'll be out in the summer. So the question is do we want Poch back?
Well, what do you say? You know my view on it. I guess I'll give you that in a minute. But what do you say, John? Do you want Poch back? Ultimately, I know we're going off on a site.
I think it's still too soon. I think 2 or 3 years minimum. But yeah, it's interesting because PSG have got such a squad, and it's not just the attacking guys, obviously, which are just amazing. They've actually got. Yeah, I know, but teams lose games, don't they? Chelsea, we all said looked like a really good team, have lost a couple of games, but you've got to judge it over the whole season, haven't you, and see how they do. But if they don't get to at least the semi-final of the Champions League, then he's going to be under serious pressure, I think. But then Pep hasn't won it, has he?
No.
With all his oil money.
No, true. Don't mention that trigger word. Jesus Christ. What?
I mean, Poch. With all things being equal in the world, what we'd have liked to see is Poch go off, win some trophies, handle big games, handle big game situations, not play the equivalent of Son at left wing back against Chelsea in a semi-final, come back with all of that. But let's say he does do well at PSG, he could probably go to Real Madrid. His trajectory goes like that, really, and that's it. Poch played it very well over the summer, and I cynically said that we were in for Poch at season ticket renewal time. But Poch played it well.
You are slightly cynical about season ticket renewal time, though.
I've told you before, I had languid cynic written in my school report at the age of 15. So,
Okay.
But the school report wasn't over season ticket time, just to be clear.
Yeah.
But Poch, if he does well, he can move upwards and onwards. So he doesn't really need us anymore. Poch was the right time at the right place. If we get, Poch might come back if we have different ownership, or we might get a better manager. In the meantime, the where we are at the moment is, I feel that kind of psychologically we're at the kind of around the pre-Martin Jol or at the start of the Martin Jol reign. That's where we are as a club. We get into the Europa. That's a good season.
They do always say don't go back, though, don't they? They always say don't go back.
Yeah.
I'll tell you now, I don't really want Poch back because right at this precise moment in time, he's not doing a very good job at PSG. I think he was doing a terrible job in the last 18 months at Spurs. Yes, he got us to the final, but the football was terrible. And he certainly lost the dressing room. I mean, Christ, I remember being sat at the top of the flipping North Stand watching us get played off the park by Sheffield United. It was absolutely turgid. I don't want him back. Hey, here she is. How you doing,
Hey!
Have you been drinking? Have you been drinking?
No, I've got Coca-Cola.
Are you just here to toast Dave's birthday? Is that what it is?
Oh,
Yeah, happy 50. Jack's got his appetizer. Happy,
All right,
happy,
Jack. Yeah.
happy 50.
hello, Jack.
Thank you very much.
We are
Cheers.
quite
We felt
excited.
like you needed some Shan sprinkle.
There's gonna be a birthday present when we eventually get the Cheese Room t-shirts and mugs done, Dave.
Mm-hmm.
We'll make sure you are the first person to receive one in Australia.
Thank
I
you.
mean, technically, probably not because it takes about 3 weeks to reach you. But we'll send it first. We'll make sure you're.
And I'll go and stand in front of the Opera House with my Cheese Room t-shirt on. And,
But will you jump in the harbour?
No, because that's illegal.
Is it?
Yes.
Aaron Jolly did it. There's footage of it on our YouTube channel.
And then he was taken away by the boys in blue after.
No, he was just very, very wet.
That's what happens if you jump into a harbour often.
Surprised
You
you
do get
didn't
wet.
get eaten, you know.
Well, he was very concerned that I think his precise words were, "Crikey, mate, there's bull sharks and everything in there, but I jumped in the harbour. I did it all for the Cheese Room, mate. G'day." Yeah. I'm here all week.
That's the most convincing Australian accent I've ever heard.
It's terrible, isn't it?
Yeah, so
I've managed to offend all Geordies, and now I've managed to offend Australians as well. That's a shame.
yeah, so
they
like,
don't care.
Poch back. Do I want Poch back? No, I don't want Poch back. Actually, I think it's the time and the place. Never go back. Once when we sat Nuno and getting Eddie Howe, then that'll do, won't it?
Eddie fucking Howe. Eddie fucking Howe. Really? Do we? He's
I'm
going to
joking.
Newcastle listening to those boys. Eddie Howe to Newcastle. They'd take Eddie Howe. That would be a step up from Steve Bruce. That's how depressed he's made them.
Yeah, well, that's right. That's
And
right.
you think we've got problems, Dave?
Yeah, but their problems are now solved. They've now got all the money in the world. They're sorted. So is there going to be another protest on the
Money
NFL?
doesn't buy you happiness, Dave. Money doesn't buy you happiness.
Hang on a minute. My opinion on Pochettino was not asked.
I'm coming to you, woman. Come on, Jen Shan. Give us your opinion on Pochettino.
All I have to say is, and this probably won't sound as good because I haven't got my mic. Oh, he's magic.
Oh, God.
You know, Maurizio Pochettino. Of course, I'd have him back.
I don't think the mic would help.
Both can't polish that, I'm afraid. So should we go backwards? Posh would have to start again, but bring some new furniture in. Yeah.
We've already got some of the furniture, though. Got some young new players in, haven't we? The building blocks are going in.
Yeah, he just needs to get rid of
Ollie.
every other fucker that was already there for playing in the Champions League final. See
Yeah,
ya,
there's not many-
out you go, except for Son. He's the only one I'd keep.
There's not many left now.
No, Sissoko's gone. Alderweireld's gone. Trippier, Rose, all gone.
Yeah,
mainly
true.
gone.
Well, Trippier was good.
The back
Trippier
four-
had a bad season after the World Cup because he was injured, and we probably shouldn't have sold him.
There's 112 people watching, 44 likes. I mean, that's poor. I did say at the start of the show, maybe I didn't say at the start of the show, maybe this is where I've gone wrong. But if we get to 100 likes, Dave will declare his undying love for Daniel Levy and give us a 3-minute spiel on why Daniel Levy has been fantastic at the club. Personally, I want to see that. It's like one of those defend the statement things, isn't
It
it?
doesn't look like we're going to get there tonight, and I think that we're pretty much done on the run sheet. So sadly, we won't
Listen,
hit that.
I run the run sheet. Don't you worry about that. So we are at how many likes are we at now, Shan? We're at 48. So straight away, there's 4. Come on then,
Well,
52
that maths
likes.
doesn't add up, does it?
That doesn't add up. I want to hear Dave declare his love for Daniel Levy. Genuinely, it would be the highlight of my night. As if those two Geordies were not entertaining enough. This is a fair point. Villa have shitloads of cash, as does Everton, but they can't spend it because of Premier League FFP, which is different from UEFA. Dave, you're a bit of an expert on FFP. What does it stand for?
FFP, financial fair play, or
No.
fairly fucking pointless.
There we go. That's what you were saying. So financial fair play? Is it going to be a barrier to Newcastle, Dave?
No, not at all. As I said, you know, the big boys, the PSGs, your Chelseas, your Cities, none of them have been excluded from the Champions League because of financial fair play. I mean, City got hit with a small fine last year, and which Mourinho was quite funny about it. He said, "Well, you're either guilty, or you're not guilty, or you're not guilty. Well, which one is it?"
Yeah.
So you know, I just don't think it comes into it. I really don't. You know, ENIC have been using it for an excuse for years as another reason for not spending any money. Fair enough. But
Dave, the people want to see this. We're up to 52 likes now. Come on, keep liking people. Keep liking.
Come on, likey.
There's enough people in this room right now to get Dave to declare his love for Daniel Levy, which, trust me, is worth its weight in gold. And I'll get Shanton next some vodka or something if we get to.
I haven't got any. Hang on, no. I haven't got any vodka, and I need to be fresh faced for tomorrow.
You're always fresh faced. Oh my God, that's a massive super chat.
Wow.
Massive. I'm sorry. You are going to have to do it. That's an enormous super chat. So can I please have? I hope you prepared something.
Do you want? Can you give me? I'll prepare something. I mean, I could technically say that we didn't get 100 likes, and that was the deal.
You can technically say, but it's just stuck.
We've got $100 pretty much.
That's better than 100 likes, isn't it? Come on, Dave. I want to hear this.
Do you want me to do it now?
Yeah.
Okay. And how long did I say? 3 minutes.
You said 3 minutes.
So let's put a timer
and
on.
Hang on. It needs to be
from the heart.
From the heart.
Oh yeah,
I want
right.
to feel it.
You're right. Yeah. Okay. So get the clock on.
Hang on, I'm doing it now. I'm going to set a little timer. Siri. Timer. Start a timer for 3 minutes. Right, you're off. Go.
Okay, so when eventually the international borders are cleared here in Australia, what I would like to do is fly to London, drive to Tottenham Stadium with a big duster, sit next to Daniel Levy in a director's box and polish that lovely bald head of his and shine it. And I'd like to kiss his ears and whisper sweet nothings into his ears and tell him...
Not sincere enough, Dave. Keep going.
Okay. I want to tell him what a fantastic job he's done for the club that I love over these years. I think that the stadium is lovely. One of my children did say it's just made of glass, but that's children for you. I want to tell him what a great job he's done. The fact that he awarded a permanent contract of 100 grand a week to Emmanuel Adebayor is great. It's genius. The fact that we've paid 30 million pounds for Moussa Sissoko, who drove us to the Champions League final, is something that we do. One of my favourite managers that were appointed by Daniel was AVB, who, if anyone's a fan of the City Show, he looked like Matthew Corbett. And AVB, I loved him. He never talked about the fact that Chelsea had sacked him. He famously said after we'd beaten Arsenal in the North London derby that Arsenal were in a spiral of despair, and then they beat us for the Champions League places. So I'd like to thank Daniel just for AVB playing Sandro and Jake Livermore at home in the midfield pivot against the mighty West Brom and Norwich at home.
Minute and 20 to go. More passion.
So Daniel, thank you for the stadium. Thank you for the Skywalk.
How are we competing with the oil money, Dave? That was one of the questions.
How we are going to compete with the oil money because we are going to have not just one night of Guns N' Roses at the stadium. They're going to do a full week's residency of Guns N' Roses at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. I want to see Daniel in the pitch in the game before then, with Slash and Axel. I want to see Daniel singing Paradise City with Slash and Axel because, as we all know, as Tottenham fans around the world, with Daniel in charge, we are all in Paradise City every day of the week.
Well, you've still got 20 seconds.
Have I? All right. And then, Lady Gaga, as we all know, Lady Gaga's one of her big hits was Poker Face. That was her tribute to Daniel Levy on transfer deadline day. And again, when Lady Gaga comes down to the lane, the Tottenham Stadium, I want to see Lady Gaga do a duet with Daniel doing Poker Face. I think that would be fantastic.
Oh, just imagine Daniel Levy like this.
Have I got 14? you know, his contribution to English boxing with AJ performing a very Spursy type performance, showing really that Tyson Fury would wipe the floor with him. That's got nothing to do with Daniel Levy. So, Daniel, from the very bottom of my heart, thank you for giving 20 years of pleasure, one trophy. But it's not about the trophies. It's about going to Tottenham. It's about extracting value from the transfer market. It's about negotiating with Real Madrid that when Modric and Bale won the Champions League, we got more money out of Real Madrid. Excellent, Daniel. I love you. I can't wait to have another decade of you in charge, taking me to my 60th birthday.
I've got to say, very, very well done.
Thank you.
You managed to make it through 3
I'm
minutes.
now going to have a shower for 3 hours because I
I
feel
feel dirty.
dirty. I feel so dirty.
Just feel so dirty.
I feel so dirty.
Dirty man, Davo.
Yeah, well, look, this is my Tottenham shirt. I don't know if you can see it. Well, I can't turn around very well. It's got.
Go on, turn round. Let's have a look.
Oh, can you see that?
No, we've
lost him.
You
Like
fucking
a
paused.
twerking day.
You've put on what is going on here? This is a disaster.
Twerking. All that talk of Daniel Levy is getting him a bit frisky.
Oh my god! Somebody take a screenshot of that now, please. Oh, Dave's back. Dave. It paused. It paused at the moment. You look like you were twerking.
I was.
Can you try again?
I'm not twerking for you.
Just turn around. That's all you got to do is just turn around.
Did you not see it?
No.
Oh, I don't want to show my ass to the millions of people watching this
No one
around
wants
the world.
to see that either, to be fair.
No. Hang on. Can you see? It's very difficult. Hang on. Can you see that?
Yay! There we go.
Well done, Dave.
I've done my back in doing that.
So
I feel
Dave,
sick.
My question is,
Yeah.
are you going to buy another shirt with Day 50 on? I give Daniel for your money.
No. My brother got it for me. Do you want to bring up Dorsey's comment?
This one?
Yeah. I think Dorsey's a fellow Aussie, so good on you, Dorsey. Hope you're out of lockdown as well. My brother bought it for me. So no, I think what I'm looking to do as a present is to go to England and see my family at some point.
Yeah.
Just to touch all your heartstrings there.
I'm not that touched.
Dave, I hope you're paying us all a visit in the cheese room when you're here.
Well, each go around each to your individual houses and just show up.
Yeah,
I'll be having
just to say hi.
I'll be sat as you get home from work. I'll be sat at your dinner table having your tea. How are you? You'd love that caller, wouldn't you?
No, stay away.
I'll be watching Paw Patrol.
Oh, caller's not invited.
You wouldn't come this far north anyway, would you?
And then obviously a night at the Z Bar. The Z Bar. Can we?
I thought you were just going to come to Butlins, Dave.
Yeah, no, that's true. And then obviously I'm having dinner at the Levy Estate in Hertfordshire. I'm having good old dinner with Daniel.
Absolutely, yeah. Well, he did think for a moment or two about putting some staff to work there, didn't he? During COVID.
Yeah, after he'd furloughed one of the two clubs to furlough the staff.
He's so heart. He's all heart. All heart, Dave.
He talked about having people work on his estate. And what a look that was. Anyway. Should we move on the conversation to something else? Or are we done?
To be perfectly honest, no, we're not done. So there was some bad behaviour. Just off topic, Hungarian fans chasing down the police. I've not seen the footage, but you've put it in the run sheet, so I thought we'd better discuss it, Dave. Was it bad, Shan?
Yeah, the police were sort of stood there with their batons, sort of swinging it. And the Hungarians and the Polish, they were Polish in the crowd as well, were sort of running after the police, and they were going like, and all sorts. But it was like a swarm of them all chasing the police back into the stadium.
Oh, really?
Back into the concourse of the stadium. Yeah.
See, this is why we should arm the police, right? Why don't they just taser them? I don't get it.
But literally, they got barely any punishment for what happened when we played there, and you can guarantee they won't get any. There will be no repercussions for them behaving like that either.
Yeah, wow.
It's because they booed the knee. They booed the England players taking the knee, and then they were getting rowdy. So the police were obviously trying to get them under control.
Yeah.
Then they stormed the police. It was embarrassing.
Who won in the end?
1-1.
No. I meant other police and the flipping vans.
I don't know what went down in the concourse caller. I weren't privy to that information, unfortunately.
Well, why not, Shan? You're normally like the news on the street is Shan. Not good.
Well, I think it's interesting for the English media. You know, obviously about the scenes were disgusting and everything that happened there, but equally the scenes at the final of the Euros was absolutely disgusting. It just felt like every bit of pond life who'd been in lockdown had wanted to come out, and it was an absolute disgrace that day.
But we are at least getting punished for that, Dave. Like, there will be no repercussions for what the Hungarians did at all.
Has the punishment been confirmed yet for England?
They were meeting about it, weren't they? They're having a big meeting about it. So it's going to be pretty big.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. Craig's saying the police went in to arrest a fan for racial abuse in the studio, all kicked off. Who knows? Shan, I missed because you were on the show earlier. I missed your view on Newcastle. So unfortunately, the Geordies have left although Brummies, which is weird.
To be fair, it's probably a good job that I've come on after they've gone, because I don't think they'd have liked what I had to say.
Go on, say it.
I think it's an absolute disgrace. I don't understand how it's been allowed. If a takeover like that was to happen of Spurs, I'd cancel my membership and I wouldn't go. That'd be me done. I think it's absolutely disgusting, and I don't understand how anyone with morals can ignore the stuff that they're saying in the chat. Oh, it's not the Saudi government in charge. Well, it is, isn't it? It's the Saudi PIF, for God's sake. It's run by the Saudi government, so clearly the club are getting run by the Saudi government. So, yeah, I'm not a fan. Can't say I agree with it.
Just to play devil's advocate for a moment, Shan, there are questionable people like in a lot of football clubs, aren't there? You've got the Abu Dhabi investment group in City, haven't you?
But I don't like City either. I think they're a bunch of cunts.
All right. Okay, good. Wolves, owned by the Chinese, Chinese directly backed by the Chinese government. Fosun have had money from the Chinese government. They've got a terrible human rights record. Leicester City, everyone's beloved Leicester. Their owners have got links to the mafia in Thailand. I mean, there's questionable money everywhere. I suppose that's my point. Why is this any different?
Questionable money, but not owners that completely admit to luring a journalist and dismembering them for public entertainment.
Well, they didn't do it publicly. They just did it behind closed doors. But
I think it's pay-per-view.
Not on being sports, though.
No,
so
it wasn't
not on being sports.
No, it wasn't on being sport.
Aren't they? If someone goes against their beliefs, they're just going to chuck them onto the pitch, and then out come the swords. Yeah, and it would just be like a fest of. Yeah, well, I just don't agree with it. It's not even like the comment about Boris killing people every day is nonsense. Yeah. Let's be serious. Like, that's
I don't think you can accuse the British government of being quite as, they don't dissect.
They don't behead people. We don't even have the death penalty in this country, for goodness sake. Yes, I'm staunch Labour, and there's a lot of things about Boris Johnson that I do not like, but that's a different show. But this is completely a different level. Then the Conservatives are like a fluffy little bunny rabbit compared to the Saudis, honestly.
I just think that the point is around, like, as I said, I don't think you can hold Newcastle fans to account for this. It's all outside their control. I mean, they're like saying that on social media, people calling them murderers and this, that, and the other. Right?
Yeah, I don't think that's right.
That's nonsense.
But equally, people can call out the ownership because it's not right. It shouldn't.
Yeah. No, absolutely. It's
not the fans' fault. I personally wouldn't be happy if that was Spurs.
No, it's a difficult one.
Yeah.
But as for City, we all know my opinion on them. So
yeah, we shouldn't talk about them. But who am I to talk? I'll go to Abu Dhabi on holiday. So what can I say?
When's the City return match on in the season?
Oh God, do we have to? Do we have to have them back on? Do we?
Oh, I'd love it.
I mean,
you've made that pay-per-view.
I don't think Andy will ever come back. I'm surprised we're not blocked.
He's deleted me off Twitter, I think. Thanks to you, Shan, mainly.
It wasn't just me. It was Dave. Dave started it.
He's always the instigator.
Dave and then HG being racist.
Did I start it?
You did.
I don't remember that at all.
You did. You asked what Pep Guardiola thought of the whole government thing with like Catalonia and all that crap. Like he talks about Catalonia, but then he accepts the money from
you did do that.
If there was a highlights reel of my time on the cheese room, I'd ask for that to be on there. Put that fishing rod out. I actually was the first one to say 2008, and off he went. Off he went. I didn't think he'd go that quickly, to be honest.
Had this still feeling they didn't win 5-0, that was he'd literally lost the plot at that point.
He was bright red like a tomato by that point. I'd actually been quite like civil with him until he started chatting absolute bollocks about the stadium investment.
Yeah.
That's when I got triggered.
It's not like you used to get triggered, is it, Shan?
And then my favourite bit was HG.
I've been well behaved lately.
HG wasn't on for about an hour, and then he came on, and then within 5 minutes, he was accused of being a racist by Andy. That was funny.
I think this is a fair point by Gov. No to Gattuso help, but hashtag won't stop the Saudi ownership. But it would show their issue with it. They have no backbone. There's not really been any backlash whatsoever from the Newcastle fans, who are just relieved to get rid of Mike Ashley, aren't they?
Not even there. Like we've got Proud Lady Whites. Well, they've got an equivalent, and their statement was absolutely pathetic.
Yeah.
It was pathetic. Oh, they've got a woman in charge. So they must be all right.
Yeah.
If you went to their country, you'd get killed. So,
Amanda Staveley's a very interesting looking woman. She's
careful.
looks like Miss Piggy gone wrong, don't she?
I'm not saying anything, Shan. I get myself in trouble all the time. I'm not saying anything. I'm not being controversial, but she does look like a Thundercat. I'm sorry. And
she did the City deal. She did the City deal. She put together the City deal.
Was it after the City deal that she bought her face, Dave? Do you know?
Don't stop it, Shan. I get in enough trouble on my own without you. Like, you just wind me up.
Maybe she looks a bit like Miss Piggy.
That's what I said. She looks like Miss Piggy gone wrong.
Is it like a mixture of Miss Piggy and Margaret Thatcher? So is she Piggy Thatcher?
She's speaking of Miss Piggy, she lost it. Shannon has literally lost it.
And how's Mr. Tumble these days?
Well, you look a bit like Tumble with that hair. I tell you,
this hair. This hair's. I'm very happy with this hair.
Is it Paul Weller told you looked a bit like?
Yeah. Last week, my boss in London said I look like Paul Weller with the old haircut. So that'll do me.
Who did I say that looked like Mr. Tumble? Who did I call Mr. Tumble?
He just commented on Mr. Tumble. You didn't.
I think I called someone Mr. Tumble as well.
No, you said something about
John Saxon Spur. I said he looked like Mr. Tumble. That's it.
Right. Well, I think Mr. Tumble. We can't go into
leave Mr. Tumble out of it because he probably performs right near John. John probably knows him. Butlins, I'm right, aren't I?
It's just out there.
Mr. Tumble's hiding under John's sofa.
Mr. Tumble's doing a live night at the Z Bar shortly.
Yes. Phil
Students love Mr. Tumble.
John, is there anything you want to plug that's coming up at the Z Bar on here that we need to know?
Why is it always this? Why is it always this? Why is it always Spurs? We
thought we were coming out of the international break unscathed, and then lo and behold, two of our best players get COVID.
Yeah, exactly.
And St. Maximin's going to ruin Reggie, isn't he?
Yeah. I might actually put him back in my fantasy team.
As we haven't had your prediction, give us your prediction.
Oh, I'm trying to be optimistic, because I'm part of a cheese room and we're all happy clappers over here. I'm gonna say
you're really not behaving very well tonight at all, are you?
said you wanted some entertainment. I'm here. I'm giving it to you. I'm gonna go Spurs 2-1, and I'm gonna go Højbjerg with a brace.
Oh my God, you're deluded. That's what you are. Not on the score, just the Højbjerg love is on another level, isn't it?
Højbjerg 1 has scored more Premier League goals this season than Harry Kane. 0. Fact.
Well, there you go. Dave, I just want to say happy birthday before we go.
Thank you.
From everyone at the Cheese Room. When's the official day?
Wednesday. Me and Danny Minogue, we're having a joint party at the Opera House.
Okay. Well, that sounds good to me. That sounds
We're
good to me.
We're doing a live link with Daniel Levy and his family.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I bet. John, thanks for joining us as ever from the haven that is the South Coast.
Thank you very much.
Haven holidays are probably around there.
Not too far away. Yeah.
There you go. See, I was all over it. And Shan, thanks for dropping by. It's always a pleasure.
Apologies, it was a bit of a flying visit. I had work to finish, and then I was stuffing my face with pizza.
Yeah.
And you did drop the C-bomb.
Oh, yeah. Of course you did. Straight in there.
This is what I mean. It's a good job I came on after the guests left.
Yeah.
And until next time, come on, you Spurs. We'll be back Monday.
Come on, you Spurs.
Come on, you Spurs.
Come on, you Spurs.